Welcome everyone, one and all, to my reaction to Season 1, Episode 1 of Heated Rivalry Rookies. Now, we are finally here. I have been hearing so many, so many good things about this show. It has popped off, people are excited about it, and that gets me very excited because... what do you mean gay romance that people are thinking is really good? Like, get me in there right now. So, safe to say I'm very excited to be getting into it. In terms of what I do know, as I said, I know that it is some kind of gay romance. I know it's to do with the sport ice hockey. Don't know much about ice hockey. Gonna be completely real. Never played a game of it in my life, you know. You get me on skates. I think I've been on skates for like 2 times in my life. Fallen over every time. Hate it. So... don't know a single thing, so we'll see how this goes in that regard. But yeah, heard some extremely good things about it. I know that I know that there's a main couple, and I know there's drama surrounding them being that way. Someone did send me a little like fact file of no spoilers, but like things to know before getting into it. And one of them was the hockey itself. Well, I keep saying hockey, but I'm gonna keep saying hockey. I'm talking about ice hockey. Okay, I'll say that right now because I know I'm just gonna keep saying hockey. I know that apparently it is a very homophobic sport, and that there are no openly gay NHL players, isn't that right? National Hockey League? I'm pretty sure that is the correct term. But there's no openly gay National Hockey League players because it is like a very homophobic environment. So that's not going to be that fun, but still very excited to see whatever they have in store for us. So yes, with that said then, let's jump in for the first time to the world of Heated Rivalry. Oh, also quick disclaimer, if we do have any new people here, if you haven't figured it out by hearing my voice already, your boy is sick. I'm feeling alright, like energy-wise, I'm feeling mostly myself, and I think my brain is turned on, but definitely still feeling the sickness within me, so bear with me. If I do, like, miss anything, please just let me know down below, and I will lock that information in, but I think we're gonna be good to go. I got my pen, I got my notepad, so we should be Gucci, but let me know. But yes, with that said, though, let's go. I was gonna say, is that a lighter? I was like, what the fuck is that sound?
Ilya Rozanov. Shane Hollander. I wanted to introduce myself.
God, that's 2 names I need to write down.
I'm not sure you're supposed to smoke here.
Don't think he gives a shit.
You're an awesome player to watch.
Yes.
Do I detect an accent?
Anyways, I should go. They're waiting for me, but good luck in the tournament.
What an intriguing interaction.
It will not be so nice when we beat you.
Okay.
That's not happening.
See you in final.
Interesting. There was something in the air there.
Then you've got Russia's Ilya Rozanov. Strong on the puck. And a strong
Oh,
skater.
Jesus.
And from everything we've heard, he really gets under other players'
I was gonna say,
skin.
from what I have seen, this sport seems rough.
There too.
Spending a lot of time staring at him, my friend. Any particular reason?
We are thrilled that Shane is Asian or Asian Canadian. Very thrilled. And we've historically broken barriers, and we do it again. So, nothing to worry about there.
That was a very strange way of putting that, but okay. The Metros.
Feel Canadian. My dad would sit up Saturday night.
Jesus Christ. They hardly know each other, and then there's tension. Where are you sneaking off to? Ah. Oh, don't tell me they're going to be working out together. I assume it's Ilya. I don't know how to read these looks. Has something happened in these 6 months, or has something not happened in these 6 months, and that's why there are still looks? The name of the show just popped back into my head. Heated Rivalry. Jesus Christ, boys. You don't want to injure yourself? What are you doing?
Is everything you dreamed of?
Almost.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
He's definitely not.
Yeah, Boston and Montreal play against each other often.
Nice exposition. Thank you for that. Why was that shot meant to be focusing on his crotch? Oh my god, bro's focusing on every single part of his body. Nah, I'd be blushing.
Мне больше нет денег, Алексей. Мой бонус закончился, братан.
Ой, ути-чути, унылый ты педик, Илюшка.
Okay, lovely. I'm not surprised. Russia ain't exactly the most welcoming place, especially nowadays.
Но мы все сделаем.
Мне плевать на мы. Ты ему не проиграешь.
God. I'm so happy that I do not have those kinds of parents, because fuck me.
See you in October.
I will say one thing I am a little bit surprised about with this show. I knew that they were likely the main characters from the beginning of the show, because you've got two people meeting each other, and I know there's romance or something. Probably going to be those two. But I'm surprised that they're on different teams, because even though they would be seeing each other often, as they said, I was more so thinking that they would be on the same team so that they would have that, like, proximity, so that if, like, a relationship begins, it'll be a lot easier. But the idea of them being in completely different cities in different countries, even though proximity-wise they are quite close, that's surprising to me. Definitely added a new layer to understanding what's going to be going on here, you know.
All right, that's perfect. You give us a second, we're going to be good to go, okay? Just stay there. Hold, please. Thank you.
You look pretty.
You're wearing makeup too.
Okay? One more time, guys. The more serious we can do,
Sorry.
the quicker we can get home. And go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I don't know, like 2 days ago? Why? When did they tell you?
No, they told me nothing. It was my idea.
Oh. Interesting. Oh, you got a right good look there, didn't you, mate? It's like they've agreed to take turns to just look at the entirety of each other's bodies. Oh. Okay. Okay.
Not here.
Not here. I'm just trying to get a feel as to whether this has happened before or not.
We can forget that happened in there, okay?
Is what you want?
So I assume that's the first
Yeah,
time something
sure.
like that's happened for the two of them.
Well, you're a really bad liar.
And he can tell when it's not even his first language. You have got a cracking body, to be
What
fair,
is your
mate.
room
I
number?
will say.
1410?
Told him quick, didn't you?
Well, if I come to 1410 tonight, it's 9 o'clock.
I might open.
Oh.
I might knock.
This boy is going to be at like 7 p.m. I was literally going to say like 7 p.m., like checking himself out in the mirror. Is this for that though, or has he got an event or something?
What are you doing, dude?
Oh my god. I was wondering if it was an event because he was dressed up. No, bro just fucking did that for him.
I thought you might chicken out.
I'm not a chicken, but I think we should talk.
Talk, okay.
This is such a bad idea.
Is it?
What is?
We'll say the actors are doing a fantastic job so far. Like, I'm believing this shit. Got me getting heated over here.
I wonder.
Well, damn. Okay, first episode in, definitely getting a feel for the kind of show we'll be watching in this regard, at least. They are not holding back, that is for sure.
I know. My coach's son back in Russia.
Okay.
I like trouble.
I can tell.
And you make me curious. Do I make you curious?
Obviously.
Obviously.
Did you like sucking my cock?
Okay, wow.
Those English words just roll off your tongue.
Yes.
I was gonna say, he just moves from one topic to the next.
What do you want to do?
I don't know.
I fear you may have to take the lead, my friend. You are the one with experience.
I like that, Hollander.
Damn.
Not bad for first time. Okay. It was fun.
I was wondering if it would go in this direction.
You think I'm an asshole?
I know you're an asshole.
Yeah.
I would not leave you like that. Let me show you how to do this, good.
Jesus Christ, guys. Bloody hell.
What? Bet you would come so quick.
Fuck you.
To be fair, you didn't last very long yourself, my friend. I will be saying that.
You didn't have to.
I don't mind, because I want a cigarette.
Smoking is bad for you.
Oh, is it?
I'm going to pause here. I was refraining from pausing a lot within that because it's annoying to, like, break up a scene, I know, so I do apologize. But quite a lot's happened. So thought I would pause to have a little talk through. Curious about, there was just some body language things there. The obviously early days, don't know if I'm reading any of this correctly, so we'll see. But you didn't have to in regards to, you know, finishing him off in the way that he did. I'm wondering if that is perhaps an early sign of some internalized shame. the you know, like the come down, quickly having a realization of what they've just done, and just being like, oh fuck, like, oh god, this was a mistake, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I'm curious as to where this is going, because they're both in a very homophobic sport. Ilya is obviously from a country where homophobia is rampant, and so in that regard, it's like, I'm curious about like the ways that they are viewing themselves, because internalized shame would be like so common in someone in their position, you know what I mean? But yeah, where are they going to go then? Because obviously this isn't like the start of a relationship in the sense that they've not gone on a date and shit like that. They've just had sex, and so it's like, where are we going? Is this going to be one of those situations where one of them wants to do it again, but the other one doesn't? Or are they both going to be down for this? Is it going to be one of those situations where they kind of like see each other every time they have their, what the hell is it called? Their teams playing against each other. What's like the term though? Cannot bloody well remember. But each time they are in town with each other, is it going to be a situation where they're going to be like getting off with each other, and then one of them starts to catch feelings, the other one's like, don't want to be doing that. You know what I mean? Guess we'll have to wait and see.
Hollander, look, I'm not going to tell anyone. Okay?
Okay.
A lot of fear for their careers, bless them.
Good night.
Night.
Yeah, I'm sensing some shame within Shane.
What a fucking asshole.
Yep. You said that with a very big smile on your face though, my friend, but okay.
Unlikely animals becoming friends, like a tiger and a bear, a cow and a duck.
Yeah, two hockey players playing for different teams.
50 goals.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Yeah, the nerve. Fuck him. I'm sorry, but I mean it.
Oh, he's thinking about fucking him, alright?
20 тысяч баксов?
Да, 20 тысяч баксов.
Черт возьми. Я рад, что у тебя все со слухом в порядке.
I assume he's blackmailing him over his sexuality.
Твою мать, у тебя какая фигня с папой?
Папа в порядке, Илья. Мы тут и без тебя проживем. Иди ты нахер, Илья.
We can all live without you, go fuck yourself. Can you send me some money? Go fuck yourself.
Спокойной ночи, Алексей. Утром первым делом, Илья.
Well, his brother seems like an absolute wanker, but okay. Another 4 months, Jesus.
You've had 28 so far, and we're in the middle of February. You still thinking about a 50-goal campaign?
Yes.
Short but sweet.
Sorry, not to jump the gun here, but with Rosanov's permission, and I want the same thing.
Interesting. You can obviously see that the pressure is high on both of them.
What he said.
I'm wondering if that was a mix of nerves and also like language barrier issues. Likely both. Nerves making the language barrier worse.
Bunch of Finnish guys talking about the cousins they're in love with.
Where did that come from?
I think I'm going to go early tonight. 20 to 1.
I was about to say, which room is that?
I'm in the room next door to him at the hotel. Hollander!
Interesting. I assume based on the knocking that he is still going to turn up.
I'm standing in the hallway like an idiot. Scott Hunter is right next door.
Oh my god.
Have you ever?
That's a no.
Do you want to?
I'm not scared.
No, he's okay.
I'm not scared.
It's okay to be scared, my friend. New things can be a little bit scary.
Why? Does touching your ass make you gay?
Interesting.
Because you know what else makes you gay is sucking my dick.
Very true. Gotta face the reality.
The thing.
What do you mean?
A dildo.
Oh.
What color?
Fuck you. Not here. Not with fucking Scott Hunter next door.
Do you have a room that you two could go to?
We should let him listen like mating call.
I don't think either of you wanted that, let's be real.
Hollander, you were having panic attack.
Yeah. Scared of being seen with him?
He's just a plan to fuck.
Yeah, there was a lot of fear happening there. I assume because, like, press know where he lives, that kind of vibes.
I know we talked about Montreal in 2 weeks, but...
Oh my god, Hollander, you were so boring.
That's messed up.
So, what's my name gonna be?
Jane.
What's his name? Lily. Oh my god.
Whoever she is, she's gonna get over it.
Well, you could argue all you want. There's definitely feelings developing if you're upset that you can't have your booty call. Is this... Oh.
Господи. Сюрприз. Светлана.
Svetlana. Don't tell me girlfriend.
Как ты узнала,
Что твою игру отменили?
А потом было объявлено. Козёл. Мне кажется, с Джейн.
Okay, so things aren't like serious between them, to a degree. Oh, my boy, no. Another 4 months. Fucking hell, we are flying through time. Oh, okay. A different vibe to the way that the show began, with Ilya coming first and him coming second.
My what?
No, I mean, not your boy. Just like, it's always Hollander and Rosenhaus, right? I just thought.
I don't know where he is.
That was really awkward.
No worries, man. No worries. I'm sure someone else grabbed him.
If Ilya isn't here, I'm concerned that his dad is extremely pissed and he's dealing with consequences of that, or he's just feeling absolutely shit and is on his lonesome on the roof having a cigarette. Is that why you came out here?
So what? So you're
Interesting.
You're sulking because what? You couldn't take another victory lap around me. I win one stupid fucking thing. You couldn't even show your face down there.
It makes sense, but also it's fair to be annoyed at that.
You're this fucking view, Hollander. Check it out. Fuck.
Damn. Well, that pressure's bubbling over, I see.
I go home in 3 days.
Okay. Must be nice.
Oh, what a response. Damn.
I guess I'll see you next season.
Damn, there is so much not being said. Up here, boys. Listen, I get it, but
What the fuck are you doing?
yeah.
We're both in tuxedos out in public.
No one is looking.
You don't know that.
Oh, bless him.
See you next season.
I'm wondering if that was intentional by Ilya, like pushing him into that because he knew that it would have some kind of reaction from him. Ilya does seem like he likes the danger. That's the end. Okay. Well, guess we'll find out next time as to whether anything happened in those 3 days or if it really was a see you next season kind of vibe. Yeah, that was really good. I can already see why people are really enjoying it. I think that, my God, the chemistry between the two main actors is palpable, to say the least. They fucking sell it. But also, I'm just really enjoying the setting. You know, like, something about, We'll get to it in a minute. We'll get to it in the outro. So yes, there we have season 1, episode 1 of Heated Rivalry, and that was absolutely fantastic. As I was just saying, I think that there's something about the setting of having these two people where they are in public being put against each other so often. Like, they are constantly being compared to each other by even their own families, you know? Like, it's a lot of pressure in that regard, but they're also two people who, they are dealing with pressures, but they're very different pressures, but they're also dealing with very different struggles, even though they're, like, rooted in the same place of homophobia. I think that Shane is definitely dealing with like the typical homophobia, especially given the fact that they are both in a highly homophobic sport, and a sport where if they are found out to even be friends, that is problematic, let alone everything else, let alone them also being gay. You know, like, that's absolutely massive. So I completely understand where all of his fear is coming from. Ilya is a much more interesting character in that regard, I'd say, just because he's someone who is also dealing with a lot of fear stemming from the same places as Shane, on top of the fact that he comes from a country where it is even worse in regards to homophobia, and also the fact that he's obviously in a very shitty position with his family. I'm trying to understand what's going on in their family. I don't think we got too many details surrounding the money issues and everything. His brother was trying to get money from him consistently, and I'm assuming that's coming from a place of blackmailing him in regards to his sexuality, just with the like way that they were talking to each other, you know? There wasn't any like, oh, please can I have this money? And there wasn't any explanation as to why Ilya was so freely giving it to his brother, so I would assume blackmail of some kind. So yeah, we'll see where that goes, but I think that his pressure feels a lot more, how do I word this? Dangerous, shall we say? Just because, obviously, the context of being in Russia compared to where Shane is from, even though Shane would obviously deal with the, like, public outcry if this was found out, and, there'll be a lot of issues with that when it comes to his career. Ilya feels more like it's from a place of safety, just with the environment that we've seen so far. Like, his family does not feel like a safe place in that regard. But to touch on what I was saying before, and why it's, like, a lot more interesting with Ilya, is that he likes the danger. You know, I can't say that fully yet because I need to spend more time with him, but it's definitely giving the vibe of he likes environments that feel dangerous and feel risky. You know what I mean? Like kissing on that rooftop saying no one's watching, you don't know that. It is true, you don't know that, you know, you are both public figures and you never know if someone is like sneakily watching you, trying to like nab a photo, even if they've no idea what's about to happen on that rooftop, just like following you around, you know what I mean? Like you really have to be careful. And so you would think that Ilya would also feel that same way and would be like, okay, let's find a time to meet up, shit like that. But he's just like so open to doing things that are a lot more risky. You can even see it back in the previous part of the episode when they were talking about the player being next door and him just being like so down to do it anyway. Like it's interesting. It's kind of that vibe that I was saying where I think Ilya's fear stems from a more real place of a fear for his own well-being and safety. If it was found out, he's not so much concerned about his career as he is concerned about actual danger to himself when he goes back to his home country. You know what I mean? They both just seem like really interesting characters so far in that regard. With that said, though, I did get a vibe that we got a lot of questions for this episode, so I'm going to quickly go and check to see that before we talk about anything else. Right, okay, so we do have quite a few questions for this time. So I'm going to start with this one just because it's like more in line with what I've already been speaking about, and then we can get into some of the ones that I haven't really touched on yet. So first up, what do you think of Ilya's character so far? What vibes are you getting from him and from the relationship to his family and his home country? Really enjoying Ilya's character so far. Out of the two of them, he's the one that I'm more drawn to in terms of wanting to understand him a little bit better, wanting to understand his internal thoughts, the struggles that he's facing. You know, I definitely want to like hear what's going on in his mind, shall we say, but into the specifics and everything, I think that when I'm looking at the two of them and the issues that they're having, I think the vibes that I'm getting is that Shane's is coming from a much more Western place of fear, where given the setting, obviously, I think we ended, if my calculations are correct, we ended in like the middle of 2010, but I'm not familiar with when seasons end and when seasons start, so I don't know where in 2010 we were at the end, but I think that's about where we were. And with that context in mind, I think that the Western world was still having a lot of issues when it comes to homophobia and everything. I think that we hadn't yet reached the peak. I think now we've gone down a little bit when it comes to the peak, but I don't think we'd reached the peak in 2010 yet. So that's still very much outside of the world of hockey is a fear within his mind. You know, the fear being a gay person and being concerned of like family views, all the usual things that come with that. But then adding on the pressure of the hockey side of things, and the fact that it's a homophobic sport and you can't even be friends with someone on the enemy team, let alone everything that they're doing. I think that a lot of Shane's fear and everything is from a much more like Western viewpoint, shall we say. Whereas with Ilya, I think it's coming from a place of like danger and like a fear for safety. You know, Russia is an intriguing country to be featured in this because Russia at one point was not as bad as it is when it comes to homophobia. It was very much more in line with a lot of other European countries, and then something happened. I'm pretty sure it was Putin, but my like knowledge of history surrounding Russia when it comes to queer movements and stuff like that, it's not the best, so please correct me down below if I'm completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure Russia was a lot better in regards to homophobia, and it wasn't necessarily like one of the most progressive countries, but it was a lot more in line with a lot of other European countries. And then stuff started to like really go downhill. So thinking like 2010, I'm pretty sure at that point things had already gone downhill quite a bit. And so with that in mind, I think that based on that, also with the environment that we were seeing from his brother and just like the vibe I was getting from his dad, I think it's coming from a place of safety within Ilya. I think that it is actually like dangerous. Like if this comes out, it is fucking dangerous for Ilya. And so with that context in mind, it's interesting because Ilya seems to be someone who isn't as concerned with like the danger of people finding out about them. You know, it's kind of like he enjoys the risks, shall we say. Now, I don't know if that's completely fair because obviously only watched one episode, but that's the vibes I've been getting so far. It's kind of like, because his concern is to do with like his home country and shit like that, I think that the escapism involved in whatever is going on with him and Shane, I think that is like just so prevalent in his mind of like needing that escape that he's not as concerned as Shane when it comes to people seeing and shit like that, because he's just got like way too many serious things going on in his mind that it's just like, fuck it, you know what I mean? At least that's the vibe I've got so far. Maybe we'll see like a different side to things come next episode. In terms terms of his like relationship to his family and everything, as I said, I'm pretty sure his brother is blackmailing him surrounding him being gay. I don't know if his dad knows or like what that situation is, but the vibes with the money and everything was absolutely not normal. You know, that's not a normal way you would ask a sibling for money, let alone just basically feeling like you're extorting them. Like, it really felt like it was a blackmail situation where it's like, you will send me this money or I will reveal it. And so with that in mind, it's like, okay, is he talking about like, I'll reveal it to dad or I'll reveal it to the public? Because I know that he called him the F slur earlier in the episode. Well, it said F slur in the captions, but I'm pretty sure he was speaking Russian. Yeah, because I don't think we saw the brother speak English at all. So it must have been like the same slur or a slur along the same lines in Russian. So I would think that he does know that his brother is gay. And so with that in mind, it's like, yeah, that feels like where this whole relationship is coming from in regards to the money. And that also links to what I was saying about safety. Like, his brother's absolutely not a safety net. And Ilya kept asking about his dad this episode. So I was wondering if that is like a fear within him that his dad will find out about it. And so that's like where a lot of his fear is rooted in, whereas with Shane it's much more like public finding out, that kind of vibe, which, don't get me wrong, would still be the exact same failure, but just talking about like what the like most prevalent fear is within their mind. But yes, moving on from that one though, next up, bit of a longer one. The creator said in an interview that he isn't into spoon feeding the viewers. A sigh, a look, a tick in a jaw is just as effective as dialogue. The creator and actors are trying to trust the audience's intelligence without saying things verbally, especially because so much of the book is inner thoughts that can't be directly translated on screen. This being said, how do you feel about the use of silent communication and facial expressions seen in this episode? For example, the water bottle scene, which was over a minute of silence, and the scene where the boys are both standing with their parents quietly with interesting expressions. Thank you for that. That's actually really interesting to keep in mind. The fact that so much of the book is in a dialogue that you're also obviously not able to get in a TV format, because it's where a lot of book to TV and book to film, a lot of adaptations struggle with that, because the medium of a book is just so different when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to page to screen. Some adaptations do a really good job of it, and they are able to keep the same feelings, and you can like look at it in awe and just think, holy fucking shit. I think one of the examples would be the Hunger Games. Fucking love the Hunger Games books, love the Hunger Games films. It is like my favorite book to film adaptation, period. Absolutely adore those, and I think they do a fantastic job of being able to take the feelings of the books and be able to show it on screen. And I think that, obviously I've only seen one episode, I think that they've absolutely done it as well in this show. I think that those silent looks between the two of them, where you are able to infer some potential things going on, which are later confirmed when they actually fuck. But you know what I mean. I think that it's nice to see a creator trust the audience, because something that like can really turn me away from a show is when you can like just so easily detect how do I word this? Like, it feels like a creator thinks that you're an actual idiot, you know? Like, they feature exposition in every single fucking scene to make sure that you understand what's going on. The writing is basic in the way that people are communicating, and it's, like, so obvious that they're just trying to tell the audience something. We're not actually seeing, like, a moment between two people where we're, like, picking up on emotion, shit like that. They're just trying to talk to the audience, whereas I didn't get that at all. Like, and that really aided in the feelings of this being real. Like, you could feel the tension in the room, you could feel what was going on in their thoughts and the way that they were looking at each other, and you obviously you need some stuff confirmed later when it comes to like, oh, have they like done things before, for example. So glad that they like covered that when it came to Ilya, for example, asking questions surrounding have you ever done this with someone before, you know, and it let the audience kind of get a feel of where their relationship is at, because it's interesting to have this kind of story where we're having to infer a lot of what's going on while also having to accept that like so much time is passing in between, you know, like so many shows deal with such a short space of time that follows the entire season. We've gone over 2 years in the first episode, you know, like that is so much time to be exploring in a short amount of time. So I think that they did an excellent job of balancing what the audience needs to know and what the audience can figure out themselves. I thought that it was absolutely fantastic. But moving on, next up, how did you feel about Ilya's acting? accent. The actor is actually from Texas and only started studying to learn the language from a dialect coach a few weeks before production. I mean, I thought it was fantastic, but I'm not Russian. I feel like the only people who will know whether the accent is very good and the pronunciation is very good would be Russian people, because I can look at it and think that that was amazing, and then a Russian person can say that was fucking shit. So I got no idea, but from what my ears could pick up, I thought that it sounded natural as fuck. Like, I would not have thought that that man was American. Absolutely not. A few weeks before production is also crazy. I'm curious now as to whether a Russian person would say whether that was accurate or not, because only learning it, like working with a dialect coach for a few weeks, it sounds bloody crazy. But yeah, moving on from that one though, next up, did you notice Shane folding his pants pre-hookup? The character is actually on the spectrum, and if you pay attention, there are little things he does throughout the series which demonstrates this. I noticed the folding of things. I didn't pick up spectrum vibes. Okay, interesting. That has not necessarily changed things in my brain, but that has given me a definite different outlook on the character then. Okay, because for people unfamiliar, your boy has ADHD and haven't been diagnosed, but there's quite a lot of behaviors that may result in one being on the spectrum as well. So trust and believe I will be coming from a place of no judgment or shit like that in regards to something like this. So that is very interesting to find out then. Okay, that has got me like, it's got my brain spinning now, because I'm trying to think of like different behaviors and everything that I was not picking up on because I hadn't had that in my head. Okay then, excited for episode 2 now to view it with that context, you know what I mean? God, sorry, I was getting lost in my head just then. Thank you very much for that. I always appreciate getting those little tidbits that can help to understand characters. But yes, moving on then. Next up, Scott Hunter is a big deal in the league, as demonstrated by him having held the record our boys broke, and Shane referring to him as Sir. That being said, do you think he noticed anything about our boys, and if so, what do you think may come of this? Just to clarify, because I've seen reactors get confused, Scott is not Shane's regular teammate. The one time we see him in this episode is during a special all-star game where him and Shane are teammates. Normally he's just the captain of his own New York team, and Shane is Shane is captain of the Montreal and Ilya is captain of Boston. Okay, pause. I did not realize that both Shane and Ilya were captains. Did not pick up on that at all. So interesting. Luckily, I did have someone explain the All-Stars thing to me before I watched the episode. They sent me a little, like, fact file of things to know. Again, no spoilers, because I fucking hate spoilers, but it was just some very helpful information in regards to, like, the sport and how it works and stuff like that. So I knew about the All-Stars thing, but yeah, did not pick up on them both being captains. Okay. In regards to, like, if he picked up on stuff and where it could go, I think he absolutely picked up on something. I don't know how far that was spreading in his mind, but, I mean, God, Shane is a bad liar, isn't he? The way that he was handling that, the way that he was like, we're not even friends. My boy, that was a lot. So I definitely think he picked up on something. Could go in two directions. Could be that we are getting at the idea that Scott is also a homosexual and is also like in hiding. So there could be like that camaraderie there, that understanding there, but it could also go in the complete opposite direction. Homophobia, you know, detecting something's there, being like, can I use this against them? You know, that kind of vibe. I think that given that he is the captain of an enemy team, in regards to like where the story would go, I think that it would be interesting, or like more interesting, shall we say, if he ends up being an enemy who uses this information against them, because obviously captain of another team, if you know that the captain of the enemy team, I know I keep saying enemy, but that's how they view them. You know what I mean? Captain of the enemy team is gay and no one knows, you can absolutely use that against them to maybe like get them to throw a game or something like that. So we'll see where that goes if they do decide to go down that route. It could also be very nice to have him be an ally, someone that our boys can go to, but yeah, definitely not looking good knowing how homophobic the environment is. But moving on from that one then, next up, the girl with Ilya, Svetlana, is not his girlfriend. The line where she mentions Jane is meant to show that whatever they are isn't anything overly serious nor exclusive. That being said, what impact do you think she may have on our blossoming relationship? They are clearly close since she was able to get into his house. Yeah, their relationship was really intriguing to me, because obviously it didn't come across as anything serious, but she traveled like literal continents to go and see him. She let herself into his house, so she would have already had the code and everything like that. So there must be an already established dynamic between them in regards to where he's living. She must have visited before to be able to get in. So I'm just curious as to where that's going, because they're not very serious, as she wasn't hurt by the fact that he was getting with someone else, but they're serious enough that there is a relationship between the two of them, and that has me also now curious about Ilya's sexuality, because I was coming at this thinking that they would both be gay guys getting into the sport and everything, but maybe not. Maybe Ilya is bisexual, pansexual, you know, queer, anywhere on the spectrum. So curious to see where that's going to go now, because is this something that... Because it's hard to get my words out, because one, I'm ill. I've been very pissed off with my brain today, but also it's hard to read their vibes this early on, because there's obviously a level of care between the two of them. They were both upset that they weren't going to be able to see each other, and so you can obviously tell that they care about each other more than just being hookups. But I don't think it's like serious yet. I think if it is serious for one of them, it would be Shane over Ilya. But yeah, I think Svetlana provides a particular wrench to the puzzle of those two figuring things out, because what is her relationship with Ilya actually like? Like, is this something where he is not someone who wants to be in a serious relationship with anyone? He doesn't want to be, like, tied down, for example, and that could cause some issues with the two of them. That could cause some drama. He wants to be someone who is, like, in an open relationship, for example, you know? Guess we'll have to wait and see, depending on the vibes that we get. But yeah, she can definitely be causing some issues going forward. So I guess we'll see whatever form that takes. But moving on, next up, which boy are you currently leaning towards liking more? Definitely, liking is a hard one. I don't think that I'm leaning towards liking either of them more than the other one. I'm definitely more interested in finding out more about Ilya, though. Because, I mean, Shane is feeling like a story we've seen before, shall we say, in regards to the gay side of things, just because, obviously, coming from a Western country myself, I'm, like, relating to a lot of the struggles there outside of, obviously, the insane pressure that the two of them would be going through being in the hockey league and everything, but... I think that I'm just so much more intrigued by Ilya just because of my lack of knowledge surrounding what it would be like to have grown up in Russia, what it would be like to have that environment, and also the environment of his brother and his dad. Like, that is just so far removed from what I am used to with my relationship with my dad and my brother, that it's like, I'm just so interested to see what that's like. So interested to find out more about his background and his past, and just, like, getting a real feel as to what's going on. Because I'm running with this blackmail idea with the brother, but I don't actually know, you know. I want to find out exactly what's going on in their relationship and everything. And also his mum, because we had no mentioning of a mother this episode. And so, does he have a good relationship with his mum? Is his mum dead? You know, like, what is the background there? So definitely I would say Ilya. I'm most interested to finding out more about him, but I'm liking both of them equally, to be completely real. I think they're both really interesting characters, especially with this whole spectrum side of things that I hadn't picked up on with Shane so far. So yeah, very excited for episode 2 to be getting some more information in that regard. But yes, moving on next up, and on a similar vein, it's never directly said in the show, but it is very much meant to be understood that Shane is autistic, and that is an aspect of his character. On top of that, he's clearly quite anxious and introspective, and is dealing with the pressure of being a minority in a predominantly white sport. Oh, I didn't think about that side of things either. God, I've been focusing so much on the sexuality side, didn't even think about the racial side of things. Okay, thank you for bringing that back up. That bloody skipped my brain, but getting back into it. He also has parents who are very involved in his career and is exploring his sexuality. How do you think all of these stresses will affect the development of his relationship with Ilya and where he's at in his own journey of self-acceptance? I mean, my God, I cannot imagine that level of stress and pressure. You know, like, growing up myself, there was so much stress and pressure surrounding sexuality and everything, let alone adding on the race aspect, to then add on the fact that he's at a sport where if anyone finds out that, one, he's gay, career fucked, you know, all of these deals that he's getting, all of this money that he's getting, that'll stop coming through, you know. I don't know what would happen in regards to his career. I feel like he'd have to finish his contract just because he's been signed on, and then no one will sign him on again, is how I would assume that goes. So massive pressure in that regard. But then also, if they find out that he's even friends with someone on an enemy team, that will, like, make things explode as well. So yeah, I think that there is an insane amount of pressure going on there. I think that there is also a lot of pressure for Ilya as well. But as I was saying previously, I think I'm so interested in their journeys individually as much as I am as their journeys with each other, because they have very different backgrounds, very different histories, very different levels of experience as well. And Shane definitely is dealing with a lot more anxiety surrounding being seen with Ilya and a lot of anxiety surrounding sexuality. Whereas Ilya, a lot of his anxiety is very like family focused, very anxious about his dad, anxious about the environment that exists within his own country. You know, I just think that they have such different journeys that they're a really cool duo to be exploring, you know. But in regards to like how all of the stresses will affect the relationship and everything, my God, I don't see this going down particularly well. I think that there are many different points of drama that we could be having with their relationship. I think that it is going to be a rocky road to even getting to accepting that they're in a relationship. I think that there is going to be a lot of pushback on both sides. I think that even if they then do get to a point of accepting that they're in a relationship and calling each other boyfriends, I think that there will then be many massive mountains that they're going to have to cross and go over in regards to their own personal development, and also the fact that they're going to have to keep this a secret. You know, keeping a relationship a secret no matter what is extremely hard. Also having the fear of a sexuality aspect, though, that makes it even worse. You know, there are going to be so many points where they're probably going to be thinking, is this even worth it? What's the point? You know what I mean? There will also be times where they may be thinking, well, is it better if I just like hook up with other guys, you know, and I just leave this? Because starting something serious with someone who's on another team in a different city and everything, that also comes with its own pressures, its own issues in regards to relationships. I just think it's tough because they have so many factors going against them that you would think that this will just like crash and burn no matter what. But then you also add in the fact that because of the many things that are causing like stresses within their lives will also basically make them extremely lonely, they will then be relying on each other in that regard. So it's just going to be a clash of so many different things that I'm excited to see where we go, but I'm very nervous because it could very easily crash and burn. So I guess we will have to just wait and see. Now, moving on, next up, Ilya's character is Russian, and we're shown him struggling with the language a bit this episode. He is clearly overwhelmed by the barrage of English questions at the press conference, which is why Shane speaks for them both, and they comfort each other via foot tap. While Ilya is obviously cocky, how much do you think his abruptness, can I fucking speak English today, is also a symptom of his language barrier? How do you think the differences in their languages / culture can affect these two as they attempt to navigate an already complicated relationship? My God, I mean, you put it best yourself there. We literally just spoke about like all of the factors that are going against them, and then adding this in as well. It's like, oh my God. This is an intriguing question. I'm going to try and not go too much off on a tangent, but this is something that I've been curious about my entire life, because the concept of speaking another language, so much of your identity and who you are is bound to your language. And I don't think a lot of people realize that when they only speak one language. I mean, I'm only fluent in one language myself. Like, I'm attempting to change that. I am learning a language myself. I'm trying to do my best at that. But I think so many people don't have an understanding of how much of who you are is tied to your language and tied to just your ability to communicate. And I've always been so curious as to how it feels to be someone who is in a relationship with someone where your only way of communicating with them is with a second language or even a third language, you know, even a fucking fourth, if you're a bloody genius. You know what I mean? But I've just always been so curious as to how that works, because it's not necessarily that you're like lying or you're being a completely different person by speaking another language, but it does completely change how you communicate and how you understand the world around you based on how you're able to communicate with the people around you. And so it's interesting. I don't particularly know exactly how that will go. I don't know if it's going to be as big of an obstacle as, say, some of the other obstacles that they're having, but it's obviously a very massive obstacle, because if you're talking about getting into a relationship with someone, yeah, it's easy when it's early days. It's easy when they're just hooking up, you know what I mean? You don't exactly need advanced vocabulary for that. But if we're talking about like getting into a relationship, expressing feelings, having yourself understood in the way that actually expresses how you're feeling and not being misinterpreted because your understanding of a word may not be the like native understanding of the word. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel as though a communication gap in that regard must be so hard for people when they're not communicating in their first language. That it's something that's always intrigued me. So I don't have too much to say in regards to like, I don't have like a particular experience with this myself, so I can't know. But yeah, it's something that's always intrigued me, so I'm excited to see what issues pop up because of that. It's blowing me away how many things are stacked against them, though. Like, I'm excited to see them all, but my God, my boys. Good luck. It's going to be a rocky road to say the least. Now, moving on next up, while Shane is obviously very talented, the comparison to Tiger Woods and Serena Williams wasn't solely about his talent level, but about the struggles facing people of color in professional sport. His mother also brings up how important it is to be a role model for other Asian Canadian kids. How do you think this pressure affects Shane's thoughts and feelings about his sexuality? Yeah, I think that it's hard to talk about all of this because, like, they have so many things stacked against them in regards to, like, pressure. There's just so much going on. Like, you're thinking, oh, just from a basis of sexuality itself in the time period that they're in, stress. Absolute panic. To then also add in the fact that it would also be affected by the fact that they're in a very homophobic environment. To then also add in the fact that they are two people on opposite teams who that would be an issue no matter what. To then add in the fact that he is, like, I can't remember the exact, stride that he had made. Was it that Shane was the first person of Asian descent on that team specifically, like that team? Or was it something more broad in regards to the sport? I'm not completely familiar. I would hope that it wouldn't be more broad than just the team, because, Jesus Christ, how did it take that long? But you know what I mean? What exactly was the thing? I'm pretty sure that he was the first person of Asian descent who was on the Metro specifically. But do definitely correct me down below if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, to add that in as well, my brain's exploding just thinking of the stress that would involve. So I do not envy him. I think that this is an absolutely insane thing to be going on in his head. And so then you add in the fact that something is now beginning with Ilya. That's going to be problematic because that is going to be a massive trigger point for him when it comes to anxiety and stress. But also, as I was saying earlier, when you are someone who is extremely lonely, when you are faced with the fact that this is like the only person that you can have an escape with, you're going to want to cling to that as tightly as you can, but that is inadvertently going to make your anxiety so much worse. So yeah, I don't envy him, and I think there's going to be a massive fucking stress, but God, I really hope things work out well for the two of them, because that clash of thinking, like, is this worth it? Is this worth all the stress and anxiety I'm going through? And as you said, being like a role model for kids and shit like that, that's just so much stacked against you. But that loneliness and that like longing to be close to someone, that is gonna grip you harder than anything else, in my opinion. So it's definitely gonna be a big struggle. And as I was saying, the bloody roadblocks in their relationships are basically fucking mountains at this point. There's just so many massive hurdles to get over. So yeah, bless both of them. Do not envy their journeys. Now, this next one is a bit of a longer question, but I'm going to just shorten it to just read out the question part because I can't fucking talk today. Getting into it. How do you think this rivals to lovers concept contrasts with a more traditional enemies to lovers trope? What new nuances or struggles do you think it brings when people constantly assume that they hate each other? I really enjoy it. Thank you for putting it in that way, because I was trying to figure out what it was about the tension that I was enjoying so much more than some other like versions of storylines I've seen. And it's because I'm a lover of enemies to lovers. It's one of my favorite tropes. I mean, it's one of the most prevalent tropes for a reason. Like, people fucking love that shit. But there is something so interesting about the idea of being enemies in the public, but being very comforting to each other in your personal life, because you would have to be so careful that you don't slip up, you know, and not just that you don't slip up, but also the concept of like talking shit about your partner or someone that you're getting close to in public, and like, you're obviously not wanting to hurt their feelings, you're obviously not wanting to actively think of the things you're going to have to say, but as I just say, you're going to have to say it, you know, you're going to have to talk shit about each other, and you're going to have to judge each other. To come across in public as though you hate each other and as though you are rivals, you're going to have to notice each other's mistakes, and you're going to have to exploit those. You're going to have to talk about them. You're going to have to notice the negatives and actively talk shit about each other, which, if you're talking about like getting close to someone and potentially starting a relationship, that's the opposite of what you want to be doing, you know? You never want to talk shit about your partner. You never want to like notice faults, and in a way you shouldn't be noticing faults. And to have like the mentality of having to do that, it's interesting. I think that's another hurdle to be adding to the mix, because you don't want to hurt each other's feelings. Is that going to influence how you speak about each other in public? You know, are you going to not want to notice the negatives because you're feeling so good about them, but because you have to, are you then going to only focus on the negatives, you know? And is that going to then make the relationship itself very toxic? Like, I just can't imagine being in that situation myself. I feel like that is just an impossible battle to be trying to fight. How on earth do you like start to love someone and start to grow feelings for someone, and then the next day have to talk in an interview about how fucking shit they are at the sport that you both do? Like, I can't imagine that. That sounds bloody horrible in my mind. But linking back to the question, like contrasting that with the enemies to lovers trope and everything, I think I'm going to enjoy this a little bit more, because I think the enemies to lovers is always nice, but I like the idea of these two people who are struggling with so many outside pressures and so many issues. I like the idea of them having like someone that they can go home to at night, a comfort, you know, even though it is stressful, the idea of being seen with each other, even though that is like going to be a massive thing. I just really love the idea of the loneliness that just has to come with the situations that they're in. The idea that they could like comfort each other through that. That's just really sweet, in my opinion. I know it's toxic and I know it's not ideal, but I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to that. They're both just individually such intriguing people that, yeah, I'm excited to see some more. Moving on, next up though, Shane is talked about as not being the most social player in general. In the books, Shane admits that being so high profile in hockey so early on makes him feel isolated even from other players on his team. While the competition between our two mains is meant to make them dislike each other, do you think it was inevitable to feel some kinship with the only person who can keep up with you, the only person that feels the same pressure and likely the same isolation? So it's interesting because I'm someone who I've never been interested in any kind of sport. It's never been something that I've been interested in. I mean, to be completely honest, I think that a lot of gay men go through this as well, just because environments surrounding sports, they're very male dominated, and inevitably they just become very homophobic. You know, I think that from what I've heard, hockey is definitely one of the most homophobic, but for instance, I would never got into football myself, just because I would always hear the homophobic insults that people would throw and everything, and I think it just innately turns you away, and so I've never been interested in sports and everything, so my knowledge surrounding ideas of rivalries and how that works in sport environments and the feelings that you have for your rival, shit like that, I'm not too knowledgeable. But if I was to just like think from like my knowledge of the world and my own life and everything, if I put myself in their shoes, I would think that it would be inevitable that you would form some kind of kinship, even though you would like have to talk shit about each other and stuff like that. You may actually believe that you hate each other. I think no matter what, there will always be a level of kinship, because as you said, you are the only two people who can relate to each other. You are the only two people who are in similar positions, even though you have wildly different lives and everything. There is that element of kinship. There is that element of being able to relate to a side of each other that other people just will not be able to. So I do think that it was inevitable that they would have a level of kinship, but obviously it gets so much more complicated finding out that they both are into men and also being on different teams and everything. Like, it's just so fucking complicated, my god. I know I sound like a broken record. Every time that I think in my head, like, the cards stacked against them, I really want this to work out well. I'm just scared, guys. Like, I really hope that they are able to. I'm pretty sure that they are getting a second season. I think that was in the little factor list that someone sent me. Oh, yeah, I remember now. It was that they were getting a second season, and it is based on a later book. I believe it was the 6th book. How the hell am I remembering this? I usually can't remember shit. It was based on the 6th book, but it's actually a direct follow-up of the book that is the one that this season is based off, because the books follow different couples. Oh my god. Would you look at that? I actually remembered something. So thank you very much for that little facts list that someone sent me. But yeah, as I was saying, I think knowing that this is the first season of 2, I'm curious as to whether we're going to likely be ending on a negative note, and I think this is going to be a very rocky journey. I'm just so curious about the timeline now, though. Like, what period of time are we going to explore? How much are we going to explore? Was all this time jumping just a season one, just an episode 1 thing to get us to like the place that the story wants to be told at? Or is this a continuous thing throughout the show? And if that is the case, how long is this period of time going to be? I'm so fucking excited to find out. Now, moving on, next up, I believe this might be, this is our final question for the episode. So getting into it then, this show obviously features sex. However, while some dismissive people online have tried to reduce this show to just smut or just porn, it is an essential aspect of this particular love story and is often used to progress the narrative or demonstrate important character beats. For example, Shane folding each item of clothing during sex and Ilya smiling, endeared by it, hints at Shane's autism and Ilya liking him beyond just the physical. How do you think these scenes might evolve as the story goes on, and why do you think people are quick to excuse nudity in things like Game of Thrones, but use it to devalue content if that particular content happens to be a romance? Whoa! Big question at the end there, my god. I'll get to the first part, and then we'll get into that second part after. I think that I hate shit like that where people devalue something to simply be like smart shit like that. I think that's a fair comment to make if all we're doing is watching two characters, scene changes, we see them fucking for like 2 minutes, they don't even talk to each other, they hardly even look at each other, and then we move on. I think that that's a valid argument. That is not what we had, you know, like these scenes of them having sex and everything, they're following these moments where they are both meeting up with each other, you know, the pressure in that, the stress that comes with that, the anxiety, especially the one where the guy was in the room next door, you know, like these are very important beats for their characters, they're very important progress points for their characters, because we're getting to see the intimacy between the two of them, you know, like this intimacy is the thing that is so scary for them, so fearful for them, the thing that is like sort of igniting the spark, because when they're in public, these moments where they're at these games and shit like that, they can't exactly be loving towards each other, they can't exactly advance any kind of like emotional dynamic, so the only times that they're going to be able to do this is when they're meeting up in their rooms and everything. So I think that is stupidly dismissive, if I'm being completely real, but I think that a lot of that might just be coming from how is graphic the right word? I don't know if graphic is the right word in this context, but I hope you know what I mean in regards to the sex scenes and everything, because some shows, like, they don't go there, especially with gay characters. They keep things very much like, oh, it's under the covers and you know what's happening, but we're not going to show you, you know, like they just full on went, here's their bare asses, now he's going to suck him off, you know, like they properly just went in. So I think that also for some audiences, if they're not used to it, would make them think like, oh my god, this is like just straight up porn, I can't watch this, like, oh my god, and they would like not pay attention to the fact that this is a very important thing. I think it's frustrating because I think it just plays into the view of sex by the general public as a whole, and the kind of like issues that people have with seeing intimacy, you know, like intimacy in and of itself, if you just view sex as sex and the action of sex, I think that is silly. Like sex is so much more than literally like two bodies being together. Like it's so much emotion, there is so much intimacy in that moment that the idea of boiling it down to just like an action between two people, like that, no, that's too reductionist. Like you got to view it as the entire spectrum of emotions, shall we say, that is going to be going on in that moment, and it's such an important point to read for characters. Like if we weren't getting those scenes, what development would we have had this episode in regards to our understanding of these two characters? We needed those scenes. So yeah, I ranted a bit there, but I just think that entire viewpoint is just so silly. But moving into the last part of this, I'm going to read it again just because it's flown out of my flown out of my brain a little bit. Why do you think these people are quick to excuse nudity in things like Game of Thrones, but use it to devalue content if that content happens to be a romance? I think that plays a little bit into what I was just saying in regards to people thinking, or at least in the context of like not being their own lives but like watching a TV show, stuff like that, they see sex as just like an action, they see sex as just like a thing that's going to happen and it's not exactly like intimate shit like that. And so I think that when it comes to a romance, something that is focused on the intimacy, something that is more realistic in its sex scenes in regards to these points that happen between two human beings, you know, like when you have sex with someone for the first time, it's unless you're actually having a hookup and everything, but if it's someone that you're wanting to actually develop something with, or you're like forming a relationship with, or anything, you know, anything that is more than just a hookup, there's so much that happens in those moments that is so much more than just the action. Like you are noticing these things about the other person, you know, that part about Shane folding up the clothes and Ilya noticing, endearing, shit like that. Like these are very realistic points to what happens between two human beings in these moments, and I think romances are a lot more likely to show those things. Romances are a lot more likely to focus on those things, and because of that, the scene is elongated. Because of that, we are focusing on it in much more detail than some other shows may, and I think that people judge that a little bit more when they have a lack of understanding of intimacy. Gonna be completely real. I think that people who do judge that, and people who do think that those scenes are either not important, or that they devalue them and just think that they are I don't know, this is the problem, because I don't have that viewpoint. It's hard to put myself in these people's heads, because I don't understand how you can see a scene like that and not see the value in it, not see the importance of it, and not see why that is necessary to understanding the growing relationship between these two. Like, What do you mean? Intimacy is one of those like key factors in things blossoming between two people. Like, I just don't understand that viewpoint, to be completely honest with you. It's hard for me to understand why someone would view something like this and like roll their eyes, but then you see some like fucking some of the atrocious nudity in Game of Thrones in regards to what was actually happening in those scenes with nudity, i.e. essay, you know, a lot of the times. I think that so many people, when they have that viewpoint, they're just viewing sex as an action, they're not viewing it as so much more than that, whereas because romances do focus on it, people like roll their eyes at it and think that it's silly and all shit like that. That's the only like way that I can really understand these people's viewpoints, because to me, I don't understand. I think that these scenes are absolutely necessary, and without what we had this episode in those scenes, so much of their intimacy and an understanding of the growing relationship between them would have been lost. So yeah, don't know if anything that I just said makes any sense. Gonna be real with you. As with everything that I've said this episode, though, do keep in mind, your boy is not 100%. If I've missed some things, please just let me know down below, especially Patreon people, because obviously you'll be getting this first. Let me know down below if there were any, like, details or scenes or anything that I, like, misread or didn't pick up on some details. Would love to know, because, yeah, your boy's not been 100%, not picked up on everything. If there was anything that I, like, misinterpreted or something, again, let me know down below. Would love to, like, have a much more, what's the right word? Like, an accurate understanding of what I've been watching. You know what I mean? So do let me know down below, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, hopefully next time I'm going to be a lot more myself. Obviously, we have still spoken a fucking lot. I've just looked at the length of my recording. This is going to be a very long outro. But yeah, I will be much more myself next time. If you are new here, your boy likes to pause, as you've already seen, but I'll probably be pausing a little bit more in the coming episodes and everything to look at things in a little bit more detail. But yeah, very much enjoyed this first episode. Thought that it was absolutely great entry into the show. I'm understanding immediately why this show is so loved. I think my god, the connection between these two actors, they fucking sold it to the moon and back. I am so believing this. It feels very realistic, you know, even though I'm highly aware we're watching a TV show. The relationship that I'm seeing is too real. Like, the feelings I'm getting are too real. Like, this is fucking phenomenal. So yeah, very excited to be getting into the next one and seeing how their relationship is going to progress. But yeah, with that said though, thank you very much for watching. I've left a link down below to my Patreon where you would find the early and uncut reactions to Heated Rivalry and all the other shows that I do. Also left a link to my Twitch, my Discord, and my socials, so be sure to follow them if you're interested. And yes, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.